just that it was time to move on. You got what you needed to get out of that first business, whatever experiences, whatever lessons, to be able to move on and grow. And that's what it's about. You talked about it earlier, the power in failure. You can't be afraid to fail. When you're failing, that means you're learning lessons. The important part is, how do you pivot?
Yes.
How do you adjust from that failure? I like to look at life. There's a bunch of formulas that you can apply to life, right? So you have your beginning, you have your middle, you have your end. The beginning part of your formula is your goal setting, how you set your goals, right? Or whatever they are, your visions, that's the beginning piece, right? And you make a little plus sign. After that plus sign, you put strategy, right? How am I going to actually execute what I'm looking to do? And you write out that strategy equals your results. Now, I would never say change the beginning part, but one thing that we can change is the middle part. So every time that we change the middle part, we get a different result, which is the end part. So if the end result was a failure, you go back to the middle, adjust, re-strategize, get a different result. That didn't work, go back to the middle, re-strategize, get a different result. And that's what business is. That's what entrepreneurship is. How fast can I adapt? How fast can I adjust?
Can you say that one more time? Because that part is so important.
Yeah, how fast can you adapt and how fast can you adjust in entrepreneurship? It's extremely important. If you're not a person that can adapt and adjust quickly with your decision making, that's something that you have to work on. A lot of times you're not able to adapt or adjust is because you're indecisive about what you want to do. When you're indecisive, you fall into limbo because you don't know what to do.
Yeah, and that's a lot of times that's why businesses fail, because they failed to adapt, right? Take, for example, COVID. Again, no one planned for COVID. But how many of these luxury companies, I think it was like Gucci and Chanel and Louis Vuitton and stuff, they started making hand sanitizer. What? Like, that's not their market, but they pivoted, right?
Between hand sanitizers, masks.
Everything. So it's a matter of, if you don't pivot, good luck. You're not going to go. And anyone who has kids out here, if your kids want to go into entrepreneurship, do it. So my little brother, he sells candy. So my younger siblings live in Kuwait. And he's like, how can I make money? Like, I want to be in business for myself. This is stupid that I can't work in Kuwait, right? And because whatever, rules and regulations. So he figured out the candy that wasn't in Kuwait, and he's like, every single time I come to the States, I'm going to get a bunch of candy. So he got a Swedish fish, whatever it is, Sour Patch, all these candies that weren't in Kuwait, and then he would sell it during lunch. So I was like, bro, I'll get in on this. What kind of candy you want? And I'd be like literally sending him packages of candy overseas. So one time he got busted, and the principal was like, you can't sell candy. So when you said that, I was like, oof. And he looks at the principal, and he's like, Miss, when was the last time you had a Sour Patch Kid? Right? And she was all like, what? And he was like, when was the last time you had a Sour Patch Kids? They're good candy, right? And she's like, you can't sell it in school. Like, I'm going to give you detention and stuff. And he just kind of like sweet talked her. And he was just kind of like, how about this? I'll give you a Sour Patch Kid, and I'll give you a second one half off if I don't get detention. And she was just kind of like, okay. He didn't get detention. Then other kids were like, hey, we want in on this money too. Now, Kuwait, small place, smaller than Rhode Island, they got wealth, but kids definitely want to be making their own money. So they're like, how do we get more candy? So he hits me up, and he's like, hey, my supplies got up. I was like, bro, I'm not getting a cut out of this. My business is out, right? But it's a matter of like making sure that the youth is getting in on entrepreneurship. So you and your brother, you guys started off with sneakers. Then you're like, I'm out. Then you did candy, and then you're like, I'm out, clothing. Your business has never failed, and you said something very powerful, is that you did what you needed to do to move on to the next thing. In a serial entrepreneur, which you are, that's what gets you to that next level of success.
Right, and as a serial entrepreneur, it's about how can I set up businesses where they're generating money where they no longer need me. If I get it to that point, that's how I start to look at my assets. I look at my businesses as assets. When people talk about real estate is not the only way out, right? There's so many things that come with real estate that a lot of us in our community may not have. You may not have the triple threat. You may not have the credit score. You may not have the money saved. You may not have, the down payment. There's different things. You may not have the W-2. That's the third thing. To show that, hey, I have multiple years where I'm generating over $50,000 to show that I can afford this home. A lot of people in our community making 30, 40,000, but they don't even look at it like that because they have enough money to be able to survive. So now, if you start to think on a different level, like, all right, I may not be able to afford a house today, but can I put together a business? Can I put together a product where I could generate money, where it's enough money to pay for my phone bill? That's how you got to start to think about it. When you think about business, think about your business as setting it up where I could take care of a bill, where I could take care of an expense. Can I generate enough money from this e-commerce website where I can pay my light bill? That now becomes an asset to you. So don't just look at real estate as like the almighty. And when you're doing these different businesses, especially as entrepreneurs, we have the tendency to do all these different things that feel like, hey, I could do this, because you're a risk taker. Now, understand the risks that you take and calculate them. Say, hey, if I take this risk, can I generate at least $300 a month where I can cover my car note, where I can cover my insurance? Start looking at it from that perspective. You'll start to see more success in all the small businesses that you put together.
I got one more question for you, and you're spot on. One book I'm going to highly recommend to everybody is Cash Flow Quadrant by Robert Kiyosaki. You might have heard of him. He wrote Rich Dad, Poor Dad. That's just kind of the intro. But Cash Flow Quadrant is getting your mind there, switching from being an employee to self-employed to actually being a business to an investor. How many people have gone to, let's just give me a franchise, Dunkin' Donuts? How many people have actually met the CEO of Dunkin' Donuts? Probably none of y'all. They don't need to be there. They made things systematic. And when you have your business systematic, it allows you to do different things. So that's my last question for you is, like, how do you make your business systematic? How do you depend on your team and tasks and different things to make sure that, like, your business, take for example, your businesses that you have, they're making money. You're here right now, and they're making money. By the way, he hasn't shouted this out, but I'll shout this out for him. He's got this amazing planner that is generating you money right now, right?
Yes.
So it's like people are ordering it. He's not physically there to be like, all right, but tell me a little bit about systems and why that's so important to an entrepreneur.
When you talk about systems, you have to think about business in total. All right, what is my operation systems? You know, the way that your business operates. How can I put it in place where it doesn't require a lot of time either from myself or from my team members? When you're building out these tasks as well, tasking and systems, they're very important to get your business set up where you're no longer needed. Something as tasking, right? Let's take that for example. Vacuuming the floor, washing the windows, taking the trash out, right? Those are tasks that you delegate to somebody else. You know, if you leave it up in the air and say, hey, we got to make sure we get this done, it's never going to get done in the time that it needs to get done. But if you say at 9 o'clock, we have to vacuum the floors, we have to take out the trash, and we have to clean the windows at 9 o'clock. Now everybody knows, hey, I'm trying to get out of here by 9:30. So now they become more efficient. They say, all right, well, we got to do all of this stuff within this time frame. So now you're giving them a time frame to do it, and that's how we build our tasks. Now when you're building out system is, how can I make my business run and operate? Is there a way that, you know, I can do, if you're a service-based business, is there a way that I can set up my business where people do all of their bookings online? Now, by them being able to do all their bookings online, it frees your time up from taking a phone call, writing it down, making sure that everything is available and working. Again, you want to start to take away time from yourself and from your team members so that way your business is running itself. So again, with one of my businesses, the Next Level Factory, people book online. They book on our app. You have to download the app. Whatever time slot is available, whatever coach is available, that's what's available to you. You book it. Can you call us? No, because as soon as you call us, we're going to say, hey, download the app, book on the app.
You built a system.
We built a system, and that's what it's about, building the right systems to make sure that your business is successful. And you have to figure out, what can I do to take away from me doing it? And sometimes that's delegating, building the right team, and again, like I said earlier, being able to trust your team. A lot of times, me delegating a task to somebody else to take out the trash allows me to do payroll if I'm the person doing payroll, versus me taking out the trash and then doing payroll. And most important is not hiring extra people. If you have people within your team that can do certain tasks, you make that a part of the job description. Knowing, so with one of my business, the Next Level Factory brand, I have basketball trainers. So they teach youth, they teach adults, WNBA, NBA players how to play basketball. Now, these same people have to be able to make sales. They have to learn how to run a front desk. So therefore, if their time is not being used for training, I can use their time to work the front desk. I can use their time to answer phone calls. Why? Because they've been trained in those different areas to make sure that the full business is successful. So delegating, understanding your systems, building the right systems for your specific business to free up your time and other people's time within your business.
That's so solid, and it's so important to have the right people in place, but the right systems in place. And it's a matter of, as an entrepreneur, asking yourself, like, how much is my billable hour, right? If this is going to cost me, I'm just going to use an example. If this is going to cost me $1, right, and I'm billable at $100, let's just keep simple math, right? Could I delegate that task to somebody else? And you said something very important, is like, put it in the description. Right. Put it in the description, because your team, it's a matter of having them work on their strengths, but also sometimes there might be something they're weak at. I'm not saying strengthen that weakness, right? But it's a matter of being like, okay, well, how else do you delegate? How else do you manage? I hate administrative stuff. Hate it with a passion. So I delegate it out because it stresses me out.
Right. And I think with a lot of people in business and entrepreneurship is one of the things that we lack is, if you didn't go to school for this stuff, you just don't know. You just don't know. And it's like, who do I ask? Who do I talk to? Like I said, put it in a job description. We don't even know what the job description is supposed to entail. Right? We don't have an organization chart for our particular business. And that's what we talk about business plans. Like, hey, building out a business plan, I may not have looked at this business plan in X amount of years, but it's the foundation, it's the guide. When you build out that business plan, you don't have to build it out entirely. Like, that's like a 300-page document. I've done it. But I take parts of business plans and I just restructure them that I feel is most important. And one of the most important things for you guys as you continue to grow and develop is building out an organization chart. Who is responsible for what? What does your business require from a staff standpoint, from an administration standpoint, and what is expected from these people to do it? So if I'm saying I'm the CEO and I do marketing, I had to be able to say what I'm responsible for. And because my education is college, I may say, all right, this person has to have a college degree. Why? Because I have a college degree. So now when you're looking to hire somebody else or delegate that task, you know what you're looking for in a person to be able to delegate and to be able to give them that job description that you know that they'll be able to fulfill. So building out an organization chart, if you're not familiar with that, look it up. I gave you guys some quick things on it, but that's like a very important piece when building a business and when building a team.
No, spot on. This was beautiful. You just put my mind with so much information, so I appreciate it. We're gonna give some Q&A. So if you got a question, let me know, and we'll get you up here to ask. Hold up. Short people problems.
It's not really necessarily a question, but a comment. Hi, my name is Naisha Deed. I'm the founder of an organization called Pure Spark. We help Black women, Black men, and their families along on their wellness journeys. And this was really good. I came in kind of late, not because I don't value people's times, but because the snow and stuff. You know what I mean? But I just want to say that this segment right here was so powerful because you guys touched on all aspects of business in 30 minutes. And I wish that I could have heard some of these things when I was starting out my business. I assumed I knew it all because I had a degree in business, but a business degree and entrepreneurship, two totally different things. I actually studied accounting and worked for Deloitte & Touche. So if you need some hookups and you want to go into corporate accounting, I got some people I could hook you up with. Just wanted to put that out there. I hated accounting, but I did it for 15 years because the money was good. But anyway, some things that stood out that you said, Royce, was trust and value. And I came out with the product, I came out with the platform, and I just put it out there without thinking about, well, how am I going to give value to these people that come on? And now, a year into the business, I'm trying to figure it out, right? And I don't want anyone to be afraid because You're not going to have it perfect on day 1. You're not going to have it perfect on day 30, day 360. You know what I mean? Like, it's something that you said as well, where you have that goal. My goal is to help. I envision people living a mentally well life, right? That's the goal, that's the mission, that's the vision. But how I get there, is going to be different. What's my strategy, like you said? Now, and who exactly is my customer? My customer has changed 3 times. To now, my customer is actually insurance companies. So I'm working on building a contract with different insurance companies to perform the matching work that I've been doing. And trying to build a system. Lord of mercy, I might need your help. Oh, yeah. I know I'm rambling on, but I just want to say that I hope no one gets overwhelmed, because going into business is a lot. You have to be the CEO, the marketer, the accountant, the financer, But, for me, it was about being passionate about what I was doing and caring, not just in it for the money. Because if I was just in it for the money, I would have done what you did, left. I left, well, it took 15 years to leave accounting, but, So I'd love to connect with you afterwards to figure out strategies and, some of the work that I'm doing on Pure Spark 2.0. But I want to say thank you, and I want to say stay encouraged.
Thanks. That wasn't a question, but I love it.
Comment.
It was a comment. Anybody else?
And just to tap on that real quick, I am a business mentor. That's what I do in my day-to-day now. So what I do is I help small businesses grow and build strategies around their businesses to see success. Now, everyone is not a client for me. So it usually takes a phone call to meet for me and my team to figure out, hey, can we help this person out or not? Again, knowing what we're capable of, we have to be able to say or be okay with saying, like, hey, honestly, I can't help you. Why? Why? Is because I don't have experience in that realm. And because I don't have experience in that realm, I don't want to put myself out there making you believe something that is not true. You know what I'm saying? Where there's a lot of people out there that are completely comfortable saying, hey, I can help you. It's going to be $5,000 a month for the next 3 months. And you're going to say, okay, because you believe in them, because they showed you a dream. Now, as business owners, we have to be okay with that in the same realm. Understanding that every customer is not our customer. Every customer is not our customer. And once we're able to figure that out, that's how we navigate, that's how we adapt, that's how we adjust. All right, maybe I didn't sell it to her because of the lifestyle that she lives. A lot of times we don't break down our clientele. We don't build a customer profile. And again, these are things that you don't know because you don't go to school for it. I was fortunate enough to go to a high school where they actually taught entrepreneurship. I went to school. In high school, I went for banking and management and entrepreneurship. So I learned a lot of these different values early on as a young kid. And as I went on to college, I was able to build up my experience, my knowledge by doing fashion design, merchandising, which nobody would have guessed. But there's different topics that you learn in that specific industry, like how to build a business plan. You don't necessarily learn that as a business major on how to build like a real business plan, catering to something specific. So when people say, hey, I'm going into college for business, it's like, all right, well, what are you going to do with that? A lot of people don't know. Why? Because it's such a broad thing. So again, we got to be mindful of that. So building out customer profiles, that's also one of the things that I also help with. And a lot of that information you can find on my website, which is royceville.com.
No, that's what's up. I've had the pleasure that most of my business is referral based. And like Royce is saying, not everyone that I talk to is my client. And I'll tell them that. Like, I don't have a problem telling people, like, sorry, you're not who I want to work with necessarily. Personality, I mean, you're dealing with somebody's finances. I want to make sure that I joke around. I'm like, we're going to be together for the next 50 years. So if we don't mesh, then that's okay. Not everyone's going to be my client. And it's a matter of, like, knowing who your client is. Who do you want to talk to? My natural market, most people that I talk to, now that I've been in business for 9.5 years, they're like, hey, Umami, you still doing financial planning? Yeah, come through. Doesn't mean I'm necessarily going to do business with them, but at least I can guide them. Any other questions? We'll take 2 more, and then we'll wrap up.
You see me holding it, right? What's good, y'all? Definitely sitting in listening to this has been definitely powerful. You said a lot of great information. I had two questions. So one of them, you know, like she said, don't be overwhelmed. It's too late. I'm overwhelmed already. So with a business plan, is that necessary? Is that something that you have to do before you start a business?
Not before you start a business, but I highly encourage it.
Okay.
Highly encourage it. A lot of people would say, hey, just jump into it and just get going, which that's perfectly fine. But understand that that business plan, that is your guide. Think about it, right? Let's say I'm a millionaire. I'm a millionaire investor, and I'm having a conversation with you. You're telling me this great idea about your business. You have this great idea. I've been working on this. Let's say we met here at this networking event. And I said, okay, cool. I love everything that you got going on. I really want to help you out as much as I can. Email me your business plan. What are you going to say? What are you going to do? Damn, I don't even have one. I'm talking all this. I ain't even got a business plan. Now you got to whip one up, right? Why? Because you want to meet the needs of him, because he's willing to invest $1 million, not into your business because they love you as a person. They like what you're about as a person. If you want to do things at a high level, you got to treat yourself like you're already valued at a high level. So yes, a business plan is important. Why? Because when millionaire investor comes and they say they want to see a business plan and you don't have anything to show, you've only gave yourself a low value. You didn't treat yourself like you're a millionaire already. And that's what we tend to not do. We want to take the shortcuts. Why take the shortcuts when there is a way to get to these different points? So is a business plan important? Yes, absolutely. Do you have to do it right in the beginning? No, because you can adjust that business plan as many times as you want to make it fit. And then when your investors are saying, like, they don't have to know that, okay, I changed my customer profile 3 times. No, you changed it, and then you adjusted it into the business plan to make the business plan work and make sense. So at some point, you have to do a business plan. You have to build it out. You either hire somebody to do it, or you get online and figure it out and get into the beginning pieces of it. Stop selling ourselves short. Let's do it the right way.
I just want to add to that that a business plan, you don't need to have a business plan when you get started. But I look at my business plan every 6 months because I know that I've adjusted. Because if I was still at the same level I was when I first started business, I would not be here right now. So, yeah, tap into it.
And even then, with the business plan, you got to understand, don't think of business plan as just a business plan. Think of it as your business model. Because that's what it is. It's your business model on paper. I want to be able to sell my business at some point.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So you want to get to that point. Do I have things in order where I can sell it to somebody else who's interested in buying it? If you don't have a business plan, how are you going to sell something to somebody? How am I going to believe that you're doing it for real? Oh, you sell T-shirts? All right, well, where's your business plan? Like, where's your strategy? Where's your marketing strategy? Where's your outreach? Where's your organization chart? Your customer profile? Your executive summaries? You see your SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Some of y'all don't even know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I have no clue what you're talking about.
That's my point. That's my point. But how can you know if nobody's teaching you? So again, me understanding that, so my whole life has been catered to helping the youth, all right, whether through sports or whatever it is. And I've been doing entrepreneurship, teaching as an 18, 19-year-old. I had some great mentors, right? So me understanding that now at this point, my peers, they were once youth. They didn't have the guidance of somebody to be able to tell them, hey, this is how you go about it if you want to go on this journey. So what am I looking to do? Bridge that gap? Why? I've been doing it so long for the youth, but my peers have been forgotten about. Why? Because they're adults now. Why? Because they've been pushed into these lanes of going to college. Now we in debt. They've been pushing these loans, pushing into these corners of, hey, work a real job. Now you're unhappy. Now your mental is not there. Mentally unstable. All those things that go into play that our parents may have not known, and now we suffer from them. You see what I'm saying? So yes, get a business plan. Why? That's your business model. Understand the language that goes with it. And if you don't know, Google it or hire somebody. Hire somebody that's going to teach you. Second question.
Thank you. And my second question, so I'm a social media influencer. So I don't have like organized business, so I was online trying to get that done. So I spoke to a couple people, and they're not actually qualified individuals, but I asked them anyways, because I know they know some sort of business. So I was kind of trying to find out what's the difference between a LLC and an S corp, and which direction should I go in?
I'll answer that real quick. Get yourself a good attorney. Go to SCORE. SCORE is absolutely free, so anyone who's here in business, go to SCORE. SCORE. SCORE, right? They'll help you out. There's plenty of organizations that can help to deep dive. And the reason why I'm not letting you answer that is because we just don't have time to deep dive into it. Knowing what your business is, a good attorney will let you know what kind of business you should set up. It's 100% free.
You want to know what's crazy? The fact that you asked that question, right? What's the difference between LLC, S corp, C corp, which you didn't even ask about, right? If you really want to know, what are you gonna do? Look it up, Google it, figure it out. So again, we gotta take the things that we're asking serious. We gotta take them serious. If you're truly invested, you're gonna figure it out. You're gonna find a way to get that knowledge that you're looking for. Otherwise, you're settling. Don't settle for less. Settle for more. Put yourself in position to learn more. Now, when you walk into these rooms, sorry, I let you go.
No, you're good.
Now, when you're walking into these rooms, you know how to hold a conversation. My biggest thing with me, I walk into rooms with millionaires, like hundreds of millions. I'm like, yo, you really made that much money? And I just be sitting there like, yo, I want to get to that point. So how do I do it? I go and ask the question, like, yo, how'd you get to that point? I'm not afraid to ask the question. I'm not afraid to go do research on that person either. If I'm going to an event, right? And just like you guys came to this event. How many of us actually looked at the people that were on that card? All right, good. 2 people out of like 20. You guys aren't taking it serious, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. You're not taking it serious as you can. Why? Because you have a wealth of knowledge up here. You don't even know what questions to ask. Why? Because you didn't do your research ahead of time. So why are you here? To maybe get something? No, because now, same thing in business. You don't know how to ask the question. We sat here and nobody had questions. Maybe 3 people had questions. Why? Because you don't know how to ask the questions when you're in a room. You don't know how to network. When you don't know how to network, you can't tap into funds. You can't tap into funds. You can't build your business the way that you want to build your business. The power in networking, the power in small talk. Me, if you guys noticed, during lunchtime, what did I do? If anybody's paying attention. I walked around and I talked. Why? Because I wanted to figure out who was who's doing what. And maybe I could help them. I could drop a gem here and there. Why? Because they're going to remember that. I just made an impact. This conversation right now, I'm leaving an impact on you. Look how engaged you are. Why? Because I'm talking some real stuff. So now, again, treat yourselves like you're already there. The way you do that is you take it serious. Understand when you're walking into rooms, all right, who am I looking to meet when I go in here? What am I looking to gain when I go in here? Understand those key points. And that's where you're going to start to see success, because everything you're doing is now with intention. When we're doing things with intention, we know our reason. We know that money well spent. Hey, I spent X amount of dollars. Now, to work with me in a one-on-one mentorship, what I'm starting at, which isn't even a high number to a lot of people, I'm starting at $2,500. Why? Because I know the value in me. And if you go look me up, royceville.com, feel free to look it up. You're going to see the value. So because I created that value within myself, I'm not afraid to shout out, hey, this is what I'm starting at. So we got to value ourselves a lot more. We can't be afraid to put a value on ourselves and what we believe. If I go into basketball training, right? So that's like that's my most successful business so far, right? People say, hey, Royce, you're still doing basketball training? And I'm like, absolutely not. There's a handful of people that I train with, and I only want to work with them because I've been working with them for so long. All right, well, what's it going to take for me to work with you? Well, you want an hour of my time, so I want $200 for an hour. And to me, that's still on a low scale. But I've been able to create that value, and can't nobody tell me anything different. So because I put that value on myself, everything that I do is at a high level. And when you do everything for yourself at a high level, You know how to treat other people. You know how to work rooms. You know how to have a conversation. So learn something about everything and everything about something, and that's going to help you out in every room that you go in. Treat yourself like you're a high-value person already with your businesses, with yourselves, individually, mentally, whatever it is. Do all of that stuff. My bad.
No, dude, you're solid. But it's true. And it's a matter of like when you go to any event, right? Just ask yourself. Roy and myself, we hosted this event. I'm the silent partner. But Roy, like, you know, how many people up here went up to Roy, went up to myself and been like, hey, who actually attended this event? There's a lot of people that signed up that didn't come through. And that's okay. There's a lot of people online that's watching this too. Who's here? Ask for the attendee list. Ask who you can connect with on LinkedIn. If you're in business and you're not on LinkedIn, right, get on LinkedIn. The reason why is because LinkedIn is the only social media outlet right now that actually tells you that somebody what their profession is. And then you can connect with their other professions. Because like I said in the beginning, entrepreneurship is sexy. Everybody wants to own something. But how many people are actually in business? Right? Go look at who's giving them a recommendation on their LinkedIn. Well, if they're giving them a good recommendation, snap, I want to get to talk to this person. And if you're in business and you don't have people recommending you, ask for a recommendation. Right? Get yourself out there because people are going to look you up. And if they are not able to look you up, you might have just missed out on a great opportunity. So get yourself online. Get yourself in front of faces. Next time you go to an event, right, make sure that you get to know who the speakers are. Get to know who's there. Why are you there? I appreciate every single person for coming out and all the support, but why did you come? Right?
And just to tap onto that, right? So imagine this. I think we all listen to music here. Imagine if I was Drake. Think of it like that, right? In a smaller group setting, would you be willing to come up and take a picture? To be able to post and say, hey, I met this person in a small group like this. Oh, I got a chance to talk to this person. I got a chance to shake this person's hand. Treat every event like that, especially when there's a panel. Treat it like that. Treat those panelists like they're celebrities. Why? Because they're up there for a reason. They wasn't just asked to do it just because they're doing something good in their industry that makes them valuable to be up on the stage. So treat everybody that you see on any panel that you go to, any event, you got to figure out, hey, how can I get close to this person and learn more about them, and how can I leave an impact on them?
And every single person that's sitting here, you can be up here too, right? Ask like different people, how do I get up on your stage? If you're shy, get out of your shell, right? Put on your super cape and put your own ego out there, because the only way you are going to be out here, up here, is if you do something. And no one out here is different than anybody that's out here. The only difference is that these people were willing to put themselves out there. The only difference is that they are continuously to make an impact in their business. The only difference is that, well, we asked you guys to come out here, but I mean like the sense that they're like, hey, I'm making a difference. But at some point, all these panelists, all these speakers, we're all out here in the seats too. One last question, and we'll have a very short answer, but one last. Going once. Going twice. All right.
I think we're good. So next thing I want everybody to do here, everybody has their cell phone on them. I want you to pull out your cell phone real quick. I'll wait.
Go ahead. Shoot your shot.
You got your cell phone on you, pull it out. I want you to go into your notes section. First thing I want you to do is write in Royce, ROYCEVEAL.com. Next thing I want you to do is I want you to write in HTTP, semicolon, that's those two dots, / Boss Talk, BOSSTALK, Boss Talk .community. And then the last thing, which I'm going to give you guys, is my Instagram, is at Rolls Royce Veal. Rolls Royce like the car, ROLLS ROYCE. Rolls Royce Veal, VEAL. I just gave you guys 3 different platforms to be able to touch base with me. So my social media, my website, and my Boss Talk community. Now the Boss Talk community is built for entrepreneurs that are looking to learn more about business in general, where we talk about different topics and we have articles that come out. Now one of the biggest things that I feel as though that are most important today, which is some of the things that we talked about, which is the funding section that was just added in there. So if you're looking for grants, if you're looking for opportunities, if you're looking for capital to get your business started, we have that information inside of there. Made for minority businesses, women-owned businesses, small businesses, whatever it is. There's a wealth of information in there. If you're looking for more funding, more capital, if you're looking for knowledge on business, definitely tap into that community. Follow my social media platforms if you guys are looking for more information.
So you didn't say what I was about to say, but good job. Yeah, make sure you you reach out to Royce. Again, thank you for all the speakers, the panelists, for Mr. International Show for holding it down, DJ out there. But if everyone filled out the form, if you could either leave it on your desk or you could put it at the New York Life table, and make sure you connect with people on LinkedIn. That's what I was about to say, is that if you don't have LinkedIn, I won't call out anybody, but if you don't have LinkedIn, make sure you get LinkedIn because you want to make sure that you're connecting with people. But that's all we got. Thank you. There's some leftover food. You can have some food, network, unless we got to dip out of here. But thank you again for coming. And we'll see you guys next time.
Yeah, thank you guys. Appreciate it. Appreciate all your time.
You guys enjoy yourselves? You guys enjoy yourselves? All right, so be on the lookout for the next one coming up. There'll be an email that'll be sent to you guys as emails ahead of time so that you can invite somebody out for the next one. Thank you guys for coming out.